Hi there, and welcome to today's Thoughts Over Coffee, giving you the time and the space to think and connect with others. So if you've got 5 minutes, join us for today's video and podcast, which is all about sleep. Now, in a previous podcast and video, we've talked about sleep in different ways, and I'll link that at the end of today's video and podcast. But what we're looking at here is a research paper that is undergoing at the moment, and it's looking at the 5 different types that they've classified of insomnia. Now, they're looking at different ways on how to treat all of these different types, and they've got some ideas already, but it's work that's going on. It's a work in progress. So I thought I'd share it with you because sleep and insomnia is a major issue for so many people across the world. So let's look at the 5 different types of classified insomnia, and also where they've got some potential ideas of what can be done and what's being worked on at the moment. So what's really interesting is insomnia is caused by lots and lots of different things, and some of the common things are things like blue light, which is making sure you're not using your mobile phone or a device or watching TV too close to going to bed of a night, and they often say giving it an hour. It's also caused a lot by depression, and it's also caused a lot by different types of illnesses. But that's not always the only reason why. So let's have a look at the 5 different categories that they've got. So the first category that they've done is a type 1, which is highly distressed, which is an highly active or really distressed before bed. And often with this type of insomnia, and if you're exhibiting this type of insomnia, it's normally linked with a very heavy dose of depression. So it can be very depression related. Type 2 is called moderately distressed. With this one, it's like 1, but actually there are some traits of happiness that are in there, whereas with 1, it's complete and it's deep depression. So with number 2, there is actually some stress, some signs of happiness within there. But quite often with a type 2, it can be about the stress of not going to sleep. So it's that thought process before you're going to bed, oh no, I'm not going to sleep, which then leads to stress, which then leads to insomnia because you can't actually get to sleep because you're thinking about if you're going to get to sleep. See where I'm going with this? The third type of insomnia that's being looked at is called moderately distressed, but a lesser one. So it's like number 2, like type 2, but less signs of depression within it. So it's actually ranked a little bit lower in the ranks of insomnia. A type 4 is slightly distressed, and this type of insomnia is often driven by life events. So it could be things like worried about your finances, it could be worrying about relationships, it could be worrying about family, it could be worrying about all sorts of things within life events. It could be things like things that are happening, there could be house moves, it could be all sorts of things, but they're driven very much by life events. And that leads to a greater level of insomnia, because once you move on from one thing, your brain starts thinking about different things in the night and can lead to deeper levels of insomnia that go through. The 5th type of insomnia they're looking at is called slightly distressed, but a lesser version of that. And with this, it's like 4, but it's less affected by life events. So it could be anything else that sort of picks it up, but not necessarily within there. I think what's really interesting about type 4 and type 5 insomnia is when they're looking at that, what they've really noticed is the average age of people that suffer from a type 4 or type 5 insomnia happens to be over 40. So people in their 40s, 50s, 60s. It's a later on in life onset insomnia, which is once again caused by these life events and the effect that that can have on your sleep. So what is it you can do about it? So we talked about type 2, which is the moderately distressed one, which is some traits of happiness that's within there, and it can often be caused by the stress of a lack of sleep. What they found that will work for that is CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. They've worked out that actually that could be a good one for that, but it doesn't work with any of the other types when they've tested it on people. So for type 2, CBT could well be a 1. For type 3, they've worked out that there's a particular sleeping drug which can be prescribed, which works for a type 3, and that's the moderately distressed but lesser, which is like 2 but it's less signs of depression. And a drug will work for that, but it doesn't work for the other types. And they're looking through these at the moment. So as I say, this is an ongoing progress. And as we hear more on Thoughts Over Coffee, I'll share those with you. So there you go. That gives you 5 different types of insomnia. I think the major caveat to have here is if you're having sleep issues, please consult with your doctor or someone in the medical business, because that has got to be the route to getting you help and helping you alleviate your issues with insomnia and getting it looked at. Thanks for watching. Now, I'm going to link in another video here, which will be all about another thing about how to get to sleep. And these are going to give you some tips. So I'm hoping they will help you there as well. So link into that and you'll get some more help on sleep. Thanks very much. Bye.